You can go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'll start the live. We are live, ma'am. We can start.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone who's joining us today for this webinar session on software AG and web methods. I would like to start by thanking our partner NPTEL Encora team for giving us this opportunity. So I would start by giving a brief introduction about myself. My name is Nikita Shivastav. I am currently as a tech lead in Encora. I have total of 8.5 years of experience in IT with the area of expertise in web methods, which is a middleware technology created by Software AG. Apart from that, I have done some work over robotic process automation using Win Automation tool. Also, I have got the opportunity to work on BMC Control M tool. So today's session will be mostly on the web methods and what is web method, why web method is needed. It is being a middleware tool, not very much it is popular. I would say that we have multiple middleware tools and in the market, and web method is one of the top tool that is present in this domain for a very long time. So going ahead, today's agenda will have first about web methods and software AG, about the overviews, what is web methods, why do we need web methods, about software AG as a company, whose product web method is. Second would be why we would need web methods, that is the reasons, its capabilities, how compatible it is, how it is going ahead with the continuous innovations and the solution it offers. Third would be web method suite, where we will discuss on the functionalities, its overall, what all components is it involves, about the middleware, other technology, the other competitions we have in the market, how the user interface looks for the designer, where we design our services, our flow services, and what is the backbone of web method, that is the integration server looks like. So, web method was initially a company which was founded in 1996, and the application that it offered, the software that it offered, was basically focused on the integration, how to integrate. When we talk about integration, it starts all way back when, if you put two computers together and you are expecting those two computers to work in a sync, that would be an integration example. Other than that, to provide, the business process management, to give an overall look of how the business or the data flow in your business looks like, is also a part of web methods. It's very useful and it's very easy to understand how the flow of data from one sector to another sector is done, and how the error handling is altogether working. It is you get a very visual look of it, so it becomes really helpful. Now also, it is not just when we talk about middleware, the integration, it's not just about within an organization where we are integrating one team with another team. Maybe, just let's take an example of human resource team, is how it is integrated with your compensation team or the employees data. It is not just that, it is about how different organizations can collaborate and work together, that is business to business, how the data flow works. If I take a very small example of Amazon, in a very theoretical way, if we say that Amazon has, they give options for selling to multiple vendors, how multiple vendors are getting connected to one, is a form of integration. So that's how integration is it works. Also, if we take an example of electronic data interchange, EDI standards that follow all over the world, is also one of the things that we can manage, we can do very well using web methods. In 2000, that was the foundation, how the webMethods company came and what were they doing. And in 2007, Software AG company acquired webMethods. So, and it made it the name remained as a webMethods technology, but Software AG became the owner, and they acquired it. Moving on to our next slide. Some of the key accomplishments of Software AG, and how webMethod has stood there as one of the most profiting sector in Software AG. So we have a Gartner Magic Quadrant here, where Software AG has been nominated, has been positioned in almost all the sectors, whether it is challenger, niche player, visionary, whether it is the topmost leaders. It has been in all the 4 quadrants, and in 2000 and as well as 2014, it has been nominated in the leaders chart because of the webMethods suite, because of the capabilities that webMethod offers. Its application integration suite has been considered and has been labeled as one of the top players in the market. Now moving on to why webMethods, why we have multiple technologies in market, why to go for webMethods, what all does it offer, and yeah, for the reasons why it is one of the top leaders in the market. Okay, let's talk about the stability, the breadth, the scalability, and the innovations that webMethods as a technology offers. Starting with its breadth. With breadth, I mean how extendable it can be, is how much, what all it offers, and what all sectors it covers is what I mean with the breadth. Now, if you have cloud in your mind, which is what it is in the present era, which is there in the market right now, we have cloud. Now, does webMethod offers that? Yes, it does offer the cloud with ongoing innovations. Webmethod has been at par with it, and we have added, it has been one of the components that is cloud. When we talk about business to business, multiple organizations coming together and doing different kind of transactions, we are able to do it. Webmethod is very much capable with the very similar standards which it offers. It's very easy to understand, very easy to manage multiple business, multiple partners. The partner, how do we add those partners? How do we manage their certificates? And the transaction, whether it is an EDI transaction, that is the electronic data interchange that it offers, or it is an XML transactions, or it's a document, IDOC documents are there. So multiple type of documents are being handled for the business to business as well, and that too, everything is on a basis of a click. So we have the data. There is a portal we have called My webMethods Server, where we have this capability to add the partners, their certificates, of all this information that they provide us. And it's not that they have to provide us all the information for us to manage them. It is with the very limited information, very important informations that we can have, we will be able to manage those transactions. Going ahead, we'll have manage file transfer. So not all organizations or not every team works over the, whether it is REST call, SOAP call, or, to the normal service flow. There are files, there are large file handling that works. And is it easy for webMethod, or is it, will we able to do it? Yes, we will be able to do it very easily, because we have this component called My Manage File Transfer, where we have the access for the file folders. We just keep the file, we read the file, we place the file, whether it is large file handling or whether it's a small file handling, we'll be able to achieve those. That's the breadth, where we do not have to look for the file size. We are not managing ourselves according to the size, but we are expanding ourselves on the basis of that. Going ahead, we have the business process management. Now, as I told at the very beginning, that business process management is a very visual view of how the data would flow from one team, one sector to another sector, or how what all process it happens in between. We will be able to look at it. We will be able to manage it easily. Now, for an example, if I have to talk about a data which flows through multiple approvals, level of approvals, and the criteria on the basis of which this approval works, we will be able to do it through business process management. We have multiple kind of events, whether it is a manual event or a manual task, or if it is uh, it's a flow task. Whatever task it is, we will be able to view it very visually, and how it works, whether it has been completed or if it has failed. If it has failed, then it will how the error handling works. So it gives you a very visual representation, as well as easy to manage your data, and you would very easily know where it has failed and what actions you need to take. Moving on to your SOA itself, service-oriented architecture, is nothing but the whole picture out of it, where on the basis of services that we create using the web methods designer, we will be able to manage almost everything. We are able to expose the same service over the APIs. We will be able to use the same service for managed file transfer. We will be able to use the same service for multiple things. Now, enterprise application integration, whether it is API management, these are the breadth that we acquire, that we have in web methods. It gives you a capability to expand as much as you want to. Moving to next, that is your stability. Stability, when we talk about stability, how would you rate your application to be stable across, even after 15 years? How would you say that your application is stable? On the basis of how it works. 15 years ago, a service worked in a certain way, and you would want it to work the similar way after 15 years. So that is what we will call as a stability, and with web methods we are able to achieve it. Whether it is upgrades, so the services or the flows which have been created, suppose in the earlier versions, that is 9.7, or before that even 4.6, we will be able to use the same service without any changes, with the same compatibilities in the versions, in the latest version, whether it is 10.15 and the 10.7 17 or more, without making changes, whether because like with the innovations involved in it. With the innovations, I mean the same service which was there in 15 years before in the version, say 4.6, now it is in 10.17. So on top of it, we can be able to use it for multiple things. Now I want the same service to be exposed to my customers. I can use it as a service, and I will be able to expose it, whether it is soap service. I just have to call that service and it will be exposed to my consumers. So these kind of compatible stability of the service is what we will be able to achieve. Scalability, how are we going to scale it? What does scalability exactly means? And performance. For example, you have a large set of data coming from one system to another system, and it has to flow without any interruptions, and the flow should be, and the performance, it will hit the performance at some point. But how do we manage it? Suppose there are millions of data coming into your system, and if it is going to be a single server, it will take your time, it will hit the performance. But if we are making it into a clustered environment where we have one or more servers which will be able to handle it, so it is, and we are not making it consistent, as in the order in which the data is flowing, your performance will be increased. As you know, more than one server is there to handle the data, and you will be able to achieve your performance. In memory, web methods software AG has the world's best in memory application, that is your Terracotta. Terracotta is supported here, and it gives you the best in memory capabilities. And like that, we have multiple options, multiple applications involved, which will help you to um, scale your performance, scale the web methods, how scalable it would be. With innovations, as we all know that every year, or not, I won't say every year, but every now and then there are some or the other innovations that are there in the market. Will we be able to achieve those innovations? Are we in par with those innovations? And the answer is yes. Whether it is Internet of Things, or it is mobile applications, or it is hybrid, whether it is on cloud or in premise, yes, we have the capability to do that. The same services that we have created, the same services which offers the flow of data, can be used over mobile applications. We can create mobile applications on our designers. We can we can deploy our services from in-premises to on-cloud. So that's how the innovation is going ahead. And with every now and then, there are more innovative things that get added to web methods as a technology. You achieve it all here. Whether it is security, you are making your data secure. When we talk about HTTP, HTTPS, or moving data over the cloud, the first thing that comes is about the security. Is my data secure? And yes, it is secure, because we have multiple security options added, whether it is on the basis of certificates. You want us to do it certificate, you want to do it with handshake, you want to do it with auth. We have it all been done and covered over here. So we will be able to achieve it. The security to secure your data over web methods is, yes, one of the key sectors, I would say. Moving on to our next slide. Okay. As I was already mentioning, the continuous innovation and the compatibility, how the services which has been there in the initial versions will be with the same functionality, we will be able to work it in the current versions. There are some applications which get obsolete, but do we have an option to move it on to the different application and without much effort? Yes, we have. For example, there is a messaging application called Broker. So in earlier versions, we used to do it through brokers, and now we have moved to universal messaging. And our application, our services have, are we able to achieve that? JMS, Java Messaging Services, are we able to achieve it over there? Yes, we are able to achieve it over there. We are able to move the services, the transactions, and it is much faster. Innovations, yes. Current application, if we see, we have B2B added to it. We have business process management added to it. We will be able to do the API management. So there's the latest REST resources that we create. Yes, so with every innovation, with the continuous development, we are keeping our platform more, we are making it more smoother, more adding more value to it. Next slide. Yes. Will we be able to achieve everything using a single platform? Web Methods gives you an option to do that. Yes, we will be able to achieve everything over the single platform. Application, cloud integration. Definitely, you have an application created over your in the in-premise. Now the era has changed. You want to move everything over the cloud. You can deploy the same services over cloud, and you can create your new services over cloud using the services which are there in your in-premise. You will be able to achieve that. When we talk about business process management, yes, definitely. We have a perspective. We have different perspective. We have a single designer, and in that particular designer, we will be able to create business process management services, whether your EAI services, whether it is your B2B services, whether it is REST, whether it is SOAP, API management is what we are doing. manage file transfer. When we talk about it, how to transfer files from one location, one server to another server, yes, we are able to achieve it through the single platform, that is your web method platform. Master data management being one of it. So yeah, so similarly, your messaging, whether it is your JMS message, Java services, Java messaging services is there, your Internet of Things, everything we are still able to achieve it over the single platform. We don't need a different applications to achieve these things. A single platform of a designer and your integration server, which is the backbone of web methods. We will be able to do it over there. We are seeing our transactions, everything that is happening over here, that the services that we create over another application, which is my web method server. So these are the prime applications which we are using, and designer being one of the main, where you design your services, where you design your APIs, creating services to add. Suppose you want to move one, you want to schedule your services, you want to make sure that there is a location where the file comes, and as soon as the file is there, you have to pick it up and perform your actions. Yes, we can do that. You are scheduling your services for daily basis, or for once a month, or at particular time on Tuesday of 18th of every month at 3 p.m. You want to run your service, easily done. So these are the things we are capable to do in web methods. Talking about web methods suite, the components that we have here. Yes, so with the web methods, integration server. What does integration server means and what all it offers? Integration server is a backbone from where everything runs. If integration server is up, then only we'll be able to do the transactions. We will be able to make your services. And it's being the it enables your services, your data flow works through it. So it is as in the, if I talk about hub and spoke, it is one hub from which everything works. Now it gives you a high performance. When we talk about messaging, we have JMS message, Java messaging services, which help us to do the high performance message transfer with the different capabilities added to it. I can have multiple rules added to it, like what I want it to do, what I don't want it to do, what kind of data I want it to transfer, what kind of data I do not want it to transfer. Everything can be managed through this integration server, your integration backbone. Whether it is user collaboration, with user collaboration comes the option of mobile, your big data, large data sizes, whether it is in GBs, you will be able to manage it. It is some of the components that we offer. Then whether it is cloud, whether it is your social networking, whether it is your APIs that you want to handle, these are all the components that the web method suite offers. Databases, connectivity being the feature. Like when we talk about connectivity, we have this in mind that every other technology, every other sector, whether it is SAP, whether it is Salesforce, whether it is Remedy, they all have a different way of connecting to the systems. That's very true. But are we able to, is it a tough job for web methods to do that, to connect to one system or to connect to another system, and how different are they? Not really. When we talk about SAP, we have set of data, we have a structural way, what all details we would need, whether it is their database name or connector's name. We take those details from SAP and we use them to connect to the SAP. Once it is connected, you don't need anything else. You can go ahead and easily do your adapter transformations. You can get data from them, where you can send data to them, whether it is a remote function call or it's all the details that you need, you will be able to achieve it. Whether it is Salesforce, how are we connecting to Salesforce? Similar way, we get their server details, we get the data, all the necessary informations that we need to connect to the Salesforce server. And once we add it to our server, it is there, and you can manage it. You can enable the connection, you can disable the connection. When we talk about connection, you will be able to access their server, their objects. If I have to update certain object in Salesforce, all I need is my adapter services to connect to that particular connection and access that particular object. Suppose there is an object in Salesforce called employee where I want to update my details. All I need to do is first connect to the connection that we have created between webMethods and Salesforce. Once connected, access their particular object. I would have the access to all their object which I want to perform action on. And if it, I'll search for an employee, add an employee, and then all the details that I want to insert, update, delete, or read, we can perform those action there. Similar goes with your SQL, that is your JDBC connection that we add. JDBC adapters, all I need is the database name there and certain details there, username, password, which will help me to connect to their server, and I will be able to, database, and I will be able to access their database for the operations that I want to perform. Now going ahead with the partners, when it is a B2B transaction, if I want to add new partners in my serves to whom I can send some details, send the payloads, I need certain details as in their name, their certificates, what kind of transactions they are expecting, and their address. Those details are present in the partner profile in NWS, my webMethods server. There I'll go and add those details once added. And similar, when it comes to business, we have to exchange our certificates. They will have to give me their certificate, that is their public certificate, and I will have to provide my public certificates to them. Once installed, we will be able to do the transactions. So that's how I'm able to connect to my partners, whether it is legacy systems or whether it is cloud or whether it is business process that we are doing. So these are some of the components that we are using in webMethods. Yeah, so as I mentioned about the connectors, webMethod offer more than 300 plus connectors. Connect to any system that you want, all the details that you need, whether it is, for example, if I say, for example, if it is a remedy system, you would be able to connect it. We have a connector for the same. You can integrate anything and everything. You can transform anything, any kind of data in webMethods, whether it is a JSON, whether it is XML, or what else would be there, whether it is simple HTML data. You will be able to do any kind of transformation using our built-in services with the help of drag and drop options. These are the options that we have in webMethods. You don't have to create most of the services. You just, if you need the addition to be done, there is a built-in service for that. If you want to do an HTTP call to a certain URLs, there is an HTTP service call for you, where you just have to specify the URL and the username, password, and the kind of the settings that we do, whether what kind of header we have to specify. Those details you just need to specify, and your transaction or your HTTP call will be made. So you will be able to integrate multiple systems very fast. This is the capability that you have when you design your services in webMethods Designer. Drag and drop options. Multiple flow steps are there using which you will be able to achieve this. Multiple inbuilt services are there using which you will be able to create your services faster. Once the integration is done, once you have created your service, you can you can expose your service the way you want to expose. You don't have to design or something different if you want to expose it as a REST service, or if you want to expose it as a SOAP, or you want to use the service for your managed file transfer. Same service you can use transformation of data from JSON. Suppose you want to convert the your JSON structure to a IDoc, you can do that. Whether you want to convert your XML to to some other structure. Say you want to get an XML and insert the details in certain tables using your connectors, you will be able to do that. So everything, so this kind of transformation is very easy to do here in the webMethods cloud or in-premise. These are some of the web methods, or I should say software AG areas, to define their digital business platforms, what all they offer. And if you can see, you will see web methods in your intelligent business operation, your agile processes, your integration. We have software AG, in software AG cloud sector, we'll be able to see web methods. So you see web methods being there in every sector of their digital business platform. So here we have in intelligent business operation, as it is operational intelligence. In agile processes, we have the process management, business process management, or the agile apps. In integration, we have it as an API management, or as an integration, as an EAI services that we could create. In memory is your Terracotta, which handles your large data set, your data management being done by the Terracotta here. And also at the cloud, when we talk, we have web methods as an integration cloud or as an agile apps cloud. So whether it is in-premise or at cloud, this middleware tool gives you the ability to have or to create your services or expose or manage the transactions, the transformations you like to do, the way you want, the way the services, the sectors, the businesses want it to be done. Okay, so some of the components, these are some of the very small components list that we have here for web methods. Integration server being the backbone of web methods. You do everything and anything on the basis of your integration server. Once integration server is up, you are able to create your services. The data transitions, message flow, everything happens over integration server. Adapters. Now, adapters, as I said, gives you ability to connect to your different systems, to different kind of systems, whether it is SAP, whether it is Salesforce, whether it is JDBC, whether it is RFC, sorry, not RFC, but Remedy. There are multiple adapters, more than 300 type of connections, as I already told, can be done using adapters. Universal messaging is your data flow, whether it is going to be in queue or it is going to be in topic. You want it to be done one by one, or you just want it to be at there and the consumers can consume it from your topics. So universal messagings give you capability to do that. Universal messaging has a capability to store data. I'm so sorry, to store data, to not to store data, but to hang on to the data. Your data does not get lost that easily. It manages. Universal messaging application itself give you a lot of information over your logs, the kind of data. Even you will be able to see the payload that you're trying to transfer from one system, from one to another, from your source to your consumer. Trading networks, TN, trading networks gives business to business, is all about, whether it is EDI transactions that we are doing, whether it is your XML transactions that we are doing, or any other different kind of document transfer that you do over business to business, whether so that becomes your trading network. It gives you a capability to do so at a very larger, at a very broader way. It will help you to restrict. With business to business, you have got a lot of features there in web methods. You want to restrict some kind of data. You want one set of data which you need to send to multiple clients. You will be able to do so, because there is an option where we enables, like, who all partner, which all partner will be receiving this data, what kind of data should not be sent to these clients will also be mentioned, what kind of rule you want to apply over your data. Once you receive the data, suppose you are receiving your data from certain client and you want to perform some action over it, you want to transform that data, you will be able to do so, because we will be able to define a rule where I want that if this data comes from from a company called Amazon, I want to first verify the kind of data structure that we have allowed them to send it to us. If it is not of the same standard, then we will fail the transaction, and we can just reply them back that, and our services are not even touched at this point of time. We are just verifying the data over here at the very initial step. If we are getting data from a blacklisted so we have this whitelist and blacklist, where we can whitelist the servers from which we will be receiving the data from which we want. And if those servers are not as a part of whitelisted, we will not be getting those datas, and that is for your security reasons. So over trading network, we have multiple options. We have multiple security, multiple rules that can be applied to make sure that your transaction flow smoothly without any concerns. My web method server, it is again a placeholder, or I should say an application where you will be able to see multiple things, whether your business process is working fine, at what stage they are, whether you want to track some transactions in premise or outside, in your company, that is in enterprise or within enterprises. All the things, whether the rules, when we create a rules and we want to make certain changes to those rules, we can do that. We can manage our users. We want certain users to have certain capabilities. We don't want certain users to be at the admin level. We can do so. We want certain details to be sent from certain partners to us. We will be able to achieve those things over here. So my web method server is a place where we will be able to manage not only our business to business transactions and partners and details, but we are also managing our user management being done over here. Command Central gives you the capability to manage, whether it is your integration server, whether it is your my web method server, whether it is your universal messaging, whether it is your designer, whether you want to see the queue of the transactions, whether you want to see like what all transactions are there in the queue, the number of transactions which are stuck in the queue, what is the status of your queues of your integration server, what is the health of your integration server, my web method server. Everything you can manage through Command Central. You can shut down it, you can start it, you can restart it. So Command Central is one place where you are able to make the commands and manage your entire environment. Business process management, one of the perspectives also in the web methods designer, where you will be able to create your business process management. Your models will be created over there on the basis of different different swim lines are there, your swim lanes are there basically, and your activities, what kind of activities you want to add, whether it is your service or your manual, or the whether it is going to be, we have a different gateways to manage. With gateways, I mean, if my certain condition is validated, then it should go to this path. If it is not validated, then it should go to this path. So business process management will give you a total overview of how your business run. Active transfer, transfer of files, transfer of data. Active transfer portal will help users, if we have given the access to users, to place the file in our services, in our server, so they would be able to do so. We have to give them permissions. Once the permission is given, they will have the permission to certain path, and they can place the file in the folder, and our services will pick it up and will process it. So whether it is, we have not centered it just for the developers who will be able to access it, or the people who are working on web methods, but the normal clients, normal people who wants to perform action of placing the file, who creates file at their end, wants to place it, can do so. If we wanted to do through a system, we will be able to do so. Similarly, we have Centra site, we have API management, and many more other tools, the components that has been offered in web methods. And this all together gives, with every day a new innovation is happening, new components are coming, and making our work much more easier and smooth for that matter. So here you are looking at a web method user interface. We called it as designer. Earlier it was called developer. After I think after 9.7, it starts getting called as, I think, designer. Now this designer, on the left hand side, you are able to see the package navigator. Now this package navigator is basically where we are creating our packages, and inside packages, folders and your services, or you want to create your flat files, so you will be able to create the flat file, dictionaries, schema, services, your adapter connections. So you just, what you need to do is, once at the package navigator, if you see there is a button here, this button will help you to connect to your server, whichever integration server you want to connect to. Once you are connected to the server, you will have something, and you have to give it a name, whether it is your prod server, your UAT server, your developer server, or your default server. So default server is nothing but a server that is provided by Software AG. We have a ID, like a link to it, that is your normal HTTP link is there, followed by the integration server port. So you need to give the server, the port, the username, the password. These are the basic details that you need to provide, and you will be able to connect to the integration server. Once you connected to the integration server, all the packages present in that particular server, you will be able to use it. As you can see, there are some packages starting with WM. These are the built-in packages given to us by Software AG. So each of these packages will have the built-in services, which you will be able to use to create your normal services. So that's how this is your service perspective. Now, if we go up, we have an option here, something called perspective. Now, using that, you will be able to choose whether you want to work in your service perspective, or you want to service development, or you want to work on your process development, and other options, which are plugins. You will be able to use it. When you install, you need to install those plugins, and you will have them here, appear here. Now, in this scenario, here at your tree is what we do, and the creation of your services. If you see this arrow, if we expand this arrow, we get an option for the flow steps. Now, these flow steps are some of like map step, where you will be able to add your transformation logic, whether it is sequence. Sequence will help you to run one step at a time. Like once a step is done, then it will go for the next. That is how the sequence goes. When we talk about the branch, so branch flow steps give you two options. If you want to use your service, as in if and else, as in you have whether your first service should run, else your next transformation would run. Otherwise, you can use it on switch condition. Now, if you want to perform some action on the month, suppose you are just creating an input variable called month, and your month value you are giving an input as January. So you have multiple conditions added. Whether if it is January, it should be 31 days. Whether it is February, it should be of 28 or 29 days, depending upon the leap year. So those actions you can add. If you want to exit your flow at certain point, suppose the service has been executing for 2 or 3 times in a repeat, and you want to exit it after the third, so you can use exit. If your condition is validated at some point and you just don't want to go to the next step, you can use exit. Next would be the repeat. Now repeat is like repeat on failure or repeat on success. Suppose you are trying to connect to certain integrations, so a certain server, you want to do HTTP call. The first call is failure. If it is a failure, you want to repeat it. You want to repeat it till count 3. So it will happen for 3 times on failure. If it is success, it will not. So these are some of the flow steps that is being offered. So this is where you design your flow services, your REST services, your SOAP services in webMethods. And then you have your property panel, and property panel will help you to add certain properties when you want it to. Whether you want to add the pipeline, you want to record the pipeline, you don't want to record the pipeline, you want to make it a stateless or stateful, those options you will be getting in the pipeline. In the properties, and below pipeline option will help you to do the transformation, add the transformation logic in your step. This is the backbone integration server user interface. As you can see here, scheduler will help you to add the services and make it as a scheduler services on the basis of certain timeline, or you want to run it daily at certain time. That can be done, or in a monthly, or you want to be, make it a complex scheduler. So you can do so in the scheduler. Service usage is where you will be able to see how many times your service has been run, which are the particular service which are running at this time. So those details, number of threads for one services that has been opened, you will be able to see it in the service usages. Logs, whether your service has errored out, what are the errors, at what time it has errored, you will be able to see in error log. Guaranteed delivery, security, server logs, what every action that has been performed at the server will be recorded in your server level. If you want to check, you will be going to your server if certain step has been done in your services. So using it also has a certain logic, like if you want to make it an info, or you want to trace your service, or some so that will be managed in your logs. Packages, you will be able to see your managed packages, as in all the packages you will be able to manage it. If you want to disable a package for now, you will be able to do so. If you want to enable a package, you want to delete it, or you want to save it for later, you want to install inbound the package, as in you have certain package in one of the server, but you want to install it in your another server. So you can do install inbound using your backend. You just have to place the package in your inbound install at the backend, and then using this portal you will be able to install it. Or you want to remove some packages, that also you will be able to do it over here. Solutions, what kind of solution does it provide? Like for example, doing the deployment from one server to one environment to another environment. You want to do the deployment from dev to UAT or UAT to prod. So there is a web method application, web method deploy, WM deployer. This will help you to achieve so. So that could be added in your solution. So similarly, if you want to create another solution, another application, your DSP page, which will help you to just monitor all the adapters at a single page, all the adapters, all the services, all the triggers, whether they are enabled, disabled, you want to manage, you can create those in the solution, in your solution sectors. Adapters, again, whether it is a JDBC, whether it is a Salesforce, whether it is your SAP, all you need to do is for these adapters, we have in webMethods well-defined packages. Now all you need to do is get those packages installed, and your adapters will be added. So you will be very easily able to manage those. So if I'm using a JDBC adapter, that means I have JDBC, WM-JDBC package already installed. That's why I'm able to use those adapters. Security, whether you want to, so for security, you are using your user management, your access control list, who all you want to give the access to, whether it is your certificates, how to install the certificates, where you have installed those certificates. So these are some of the components present in the security. Settings, if you want to do a global variable settings, you want to do that. No, so global variable comes in security. So different kind of setting, extended settings is there. Messaging is there. You want to manage the messages, whether it is what kind of messages it should be. So everything you have available here. And from here, if you manage those things, it will be reflected at your service level as well. So this is the backbone of integration server user interface. Apart from web methods, we have some of the other middleware technologies in the market, which are considered to be the competitions. And some of them would be like TIBCO, MuleSoft, some of the big names. These are some of the big names apart from Software AG present in the market for this middleware tool. BizTalk, whether it is IBM MQ series or WebSphere or Oracle Fusion applications. So yes, so these are some of the competitors that we have in market, but webMethods itself is a tool which is, well, if it is a competition for them, webMethod is a competition for them as well. So yeah, so that's how I would like to conclude this webinar. Please let me know if you have any questions. Let's continue, and I would be delighted to answer your questions. So I believe that we do not have any questions as of now, but please leave your questions in the comments, and I will definitely try to answer those questions for you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining this video webinar and being part of it. Thank you so much.